All my buttons. Awesome. So good morning. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Welcome, welcome. I always like to start these sessions with a little bit of cannabis. This is a Canna Yoga session. So we want to take a moment to honor the plant, honor the medicine, and give ourselves an opportunity to really connect with that mother plant before we get started. So the way I like to start first is a dry hit. So whether you have a pipe or whether you have your joint or however your format is, okay, perfect. We're going to take a moment without lighting and we're going to inhale first just to taste those terpenes.
Well, that kind of, I can't do that with a vape pen without getting hit.
Right. So go ahead and take a hit, but maybe don't inhale, right? So we can taste the terpenes. And then if you are igniting, we'll ignite together. And if you're vaping, we'll go ahead and inhale together. So we just take a moment and close the eyes and really just start to set an intention, right? When we consume cannabis with intention, it helps to bring a little bit more awareness to the body and awareness to the sensations that are occurring within. So as we inhale together, just bringing a bit of mindfulness to the conversation. Taking a few breaths in between to refocus that oxygen. Inhaling again together. Exhaling to let it go. Another few breaths in between. Softening, maybe sighing it out. And last toke together. Inhaling in. Pausing for a moment. Deciding that if you need a little bit more cannabis and you're watching this in the future, you can always pause the video. I'm going to take a couple more tokes here before we get started. The amazing part about cannabis and inhaling our cannabis is that we really get to self-regulate exactly how much we need. I'm just going to push that to the side, let it be my incense for a little while here. I always like to let my joints burn a little bit. And then we're going to start to come to our mat. If you're not already there, we're going to find ourselves at the back of the mat. And we're going to sit with our legs crisscross, sitting up nice and tall. Once you start to find this space, I want you to think about the length through the spine, reaching through the crown of the head. Just start to find some moments here within yourself. We'll take the next few breaths for reflection. Maybe you use these as moments to set your intention for your day, your week, your month, your year. Allowing the jaw to soften and allowing that intention to just fill up your entire body, just the way the smoke filled up your lungs. Let that intention fill each and every inch of your body. And then we'll gently bring the hands to the heart, one on top of the other. Maybe give a little squeeze to that heart space, saying thank you. And then dropping the chin to the chest for a nice reverent bow, just giving thanks for the practice that we have already completed, although we're just getting started. And smile, you can open the eyes, maybe you keep them nice and low, crisscrossed over the nose if that feels right. Bring the hands down beside you. We're going to start with our cat-cow. So rolling to your knees, finding that tabletop. The knees are going to come hips distance. You can measure those by placing the fists side by side in between the knees. This helps you gather that very own hips distance. Then the hands are going to come out in front of you underneath the shoulders. Once you start to press down through the toes, that distance might get a little bit more increased between those hands and knees. And we're going to start to squeeze into that spider grip, pressing into the fingertips, pressing into the mounds of the fingers where they start to connect with the hands. Then rotate the eyes of the elbows forward. Maybe think about rotating your armpits to meet one another. And then look between your thighs. Let your shins and toes start to disappear. Two nice long lines. Press down through the tips of your toes. On your inhale, let the tailbone rise, belly drop, chest forward, eye gaze forward or up, and we push away with those hands. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the belly to the spine, chin comes to chest last, and again, we push away. Inhale, tailbone rises, belly drops. Notice how we're starting with the tailbone each time. And exhale, tuck it, round it, curl it, chin to chest last. Give me 3 more with your own breath. Inhaling, drop that belly, eye gaze up. And exhaling to push away. Soften your face, don't clench the jaw. Moving with that breath, feeling the stretch along that belly. And last one, really round it out, push it away, soften that jaw. Nice job. Come back to a neutral spine. We're gonna take a wrist break here, so draw the knees together, sink it back towards your heels, and we're gonna take a moment to stretch out the hands. So once you're sitting comfortably on those heels, you can even come crisscross if that feels better for you. I want you to take your palms together in prayer and draw your shoulders back and down. Taking a moment here with the thumbs to the sternum. Maybe you drop your chin to the chest if you want a little bow along the back of the neck. Smile. Breathe. Now take a moment to bring the hands down to the mat and release the forehead down into the mat. Shoulders drape over the knees. Give me 1 second here. I just want to make sure that the screen is doing its thing right. Zoom things I've got to worry about. Slowly starting to rise back up, coming back up to that seat. Now let's give those hands a little bit of workout. So draw the palms together and interlace your fingers. As we inhale, we're going to push away and feel a stretch along the fingers and the backs of the hands. Work those fingertips up to the sky. Shoulders stay pulling back and down. So don't let the biceps come by the ears. Pull them away from the ears. As you exhale, release that grip. Fingertips find the mat. Inhale, bring them together, interlace, push away, reach up to the sky. And exhale, soften to release. One more, rule of 3 today. Bring the palms together, inhale, push away as you interlace. And inhale up. Release it down. Nice job. Shake it out a little bit. Bring the palms together. And we're going to do a little rotation here. And so this rotation, we're going to start by bringing the pinkies together and folding the hands out. Back of the hands come together and we twist the fingertips down. So we're going in this little rotation here. Palms together, rotate around the back of the hands, drop those fingers. Yeah, nice job. Yeah. So we're going to go one direction first. Doesn't matter which direction. Breathing into it here. If the feet are screaming or the legs are screaming, just note that. And stop, we'll go the other direction. So fold them forward, round them back. Just really press all those surfaces together as they connect. This will help massage those hands. A couple more times in this direction. Beautiful job. Release them down. Let's come off those legs. Waddle yourself off those knees. And then tap out the toes if you'd like. Just letting go of any tension in those feet. Bring those knees back to hips distance apart. You can measure again with the fists side by side if you'd like, in between the knees, until you start to get a little more used to what that feels like. Hands underneath the shoulders. And we're going to take a moment here to start with our low warrior series. So look between the thighs, let the shins and toes disappear, and really use this left leg. Press it down into the mat. On your next inhale, kick your right leg out to the side like a fire hydrant, and then swim that right leg all the way in between the hands. Yeah, nice. Right knee stays over the right ankle. We press down through that left shin behind us, hands to the hips. Inhale, come on up. So we start with our low lunge. We want to work on that low body as we squeeze. We want to feel that right hip pull back and the left hip pull forward. Almost imagining we have that block in between the thighs. Then the shoulders pull back and down and the eye gaze comes forward. As you inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky, peel your shoulders back and down, and peel those thumbs back behind you, opening up to this beautiful stretch. You're feeling this along the top of that that left thigh. And as you're peeling that right hip back, you're really increasing that stretch. Push down through the big toe mound on the right toe, and then exhale, interlace the fingers and press them down onto that right thigh. Just be gentle here. This is just to imagine the chest peeling a little bit farther forward. And then sink it down. Left hand finds the mat, right hand finds the mat, and sink it a little farther forward than you think you should. So you can curl onto those back toes and lift off. Press it back, and the right knee follows. Drop it down. Find your downward facing dog. Taking a moment here to shake your head no. And smile as you nod it yes. Bring in some good energy here. Stop the nodding, the shaking, and begin to pedal it out now. Bending one knee and then the other, feeling that shift from the hip to hip. Squeezing into that fingertip grip. Maybe imagine holding onto a jar lid here with each hand. You can even think about trying to rotate them open. That will help rotate those biceps forward. And then stop the pedaling, start to reach your heels down toward the mat. It's okay if they're not touching just yet. One day they'll get there. Think about that micro bend in the knees and the elbows, and then lift your hips higher to the sky. Take a moment here to think about your pelvis and let it become neutral. Nice. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bring it into the chest like you're a flamingo, and then come high on your back toes. Maybe you tap the right elbow with the right knee. Maybe you fling that right foot in between those hands. Drop that left knee down. We're back in a nice long lunge. Hands back to the hips. One more time. Come on up. Reach those arms up to the sky, shoulders out of the ears. Square those hips. Then bring those hands down through heart. And this time we're going to give it a little twist. So really squeeze in that pelvic floor and then rotate your torso toward that bent knee. Yes, holding here, breathing, smiling. Maybe the eye gaze wants to come past that right shoulder for a little balance challenge. And then unwind, exhale, bring it back to center. Release those hands down to frame the feet. And kick that right knee back. Uncurl the toes. Sink it back. Hips to heels. Forehead into the mat. Child's pose. This one we're reaching here. We keep those fingertips reaching toward the top of the mat, nice and long. Nice job. Inhale, pull on those palms, tear the mat forward, and shift your body weight forward. Let's get those knees back to that hips distance apart, maybe measuring with those fists. Hands underneath the shoulders, setting up at that nice strong tabletop to start. Look between your thighs, shins and toes disappear, this time pressing down through the right shin. Really push down through those right toes. Inhale, left leg out like a fire hydrant to the side of the room, then swim it around up and through, finding that lunge. Left knee over left ankle. Press into the big toe mound on that left foot, press down through those right toes behind you, hands to hips, come on up. Shoulders back and down. Peel that sternum to belly button and square those hips. So this time the left hip is pulling back and the right hip is squeezing forward. When you're ready, arms up, shoulders back, thumbs toward that back wall. Eye gaze is out in front. And we pull nice and strong here, squeezing that imaginary block between the thighs, pressing down through those toes behind us and the big toe mound on that left foot. Good. Release the fingertips to interlace. Drop them down onto that left thigh. Feel a little push away so your chest can come a little farther forward. Nice job. Release it down. Hands find that frame. Good. Shift it forward. Find your back toes. Lift off. Find a nice little lunge here. Nice job. Press into the palms. Kick the left foot back. Find your downward dog. Taking a moment here. Shake the head no. And nod it yes. Squeeze into that spider grip, that holding on to those jar lids, right? Rotate the eyes, the elbows forward, and lift your hips up to the sky. Maybe here you start to pedal it out a little bit. Remembering that the wider our feet are, the more we have room to play in those hips. The closer we start to bring those feet together in our downward dog, the tighter the pose becomes. You always choose your own adventure here. Squeeze into that spider grip, start to find your foundation, rotate the eyes, the elbows forward, melt your chest toward your thighs. Nice job. Inhale, lift that left leg up. Swing it forward like a flamingo. Come high on those back toes. Maybe you tap that left elbow. Maybe you just fling that left foot in between those hands. Finding that nice long lunge and then dropping down to that back knee. Uncurl the toes. Coming back up, hands to hips, pushing through that big toe mound. Find your nice low lunge. Nice job. Swing those arms up to the sky. Shoulders stay back and down. Thumbs behind you. Drop those palms together in prayer at the heart. Squeeze that imaginary block between those thighs and rotate at the torso. Rotate at the belly button. Twist toward that left knee. Squeezing here, maybe you take the eye gaze past the left shoulder if you want a balance challenge. Make sure you're softening the jaw. Smile, breathe, and unwind. Come back to center slowly. Release those hands down to frame that foot. Shift it a little farther back. See if you can swing that left leg back. Left knee under left hip. We're back in our tabletop. Nice job. Bring the big toes to touch. Send your knees nice and wide. Sink the hips to the heels. Let something go. Forehead into the mat. Walk your hands out as far as you can toward the top of the mat. Really stretching that belly between the thighs. Bring the palms together in prayer. Bend at the elbows. Soften something here. Breathe. Creating this little shark fin above the back of our neck. We can press into the palms to activate the biceps and the shoulders. We can push into the fingertips and tuck the palms away from one another here. This will create a nice little hand stretch also. Soften your face. Relax your jaw. Couple more breaths here. Opening up those forearms, the biceps, the shoulders. And then releasing the nice edge of the hands back to the mat. Walk your arms out so they're shoulder distance apart. Bring the chin to the mat so you can see those nice long lines you just made with your arms. And then pull on the forearms, pull on the palms, shift your tushy up to the sky. Knees come underneath you as the belly starts to find that sternum. Hands come to the mat and we find our tabletop once again. Nice job. Walk your hands out toward the top of the mat. Maybe you go a whole foot length or maybe a couple of hand lengths. We start to hold on to the lids of those jars and shift the body weight forward. So we're looking over the ledge of those fingers. Curl the toes, lift up, find your plank. Hold here, feel the shake in the body. Squeeze those cheeks and reach those heels back behind you. Holding here for 5, 4, squeeze into that spider grip, 2, and 1. Lift your tushy to the sky. Find a nice long dog here. Try not to change the feet or hands, just lifting the tushy up. Shake the head no. And nod it yes, letting go of something on that exhale. Inhale, come high on the toes, shift that body weight forward, find your plank once more. First time around, we'll drop it down, knees find the mat, keep the toes curled. Shift it a little farther forward and turn the elbows in toward the body, bend those elbows to hug the body and release it down, chest and chin, find the mat, tushy stays toward the sky. Then release those tops of the feet and the tush or the pelvic floor down to the mat, we find our tummies. Inhale, lift up for a baby cobra. So we just lift here enough that the hands can still lift off, but our chest is lifted, our face is lifted. We're looking forward, we're peeling those shoulders back. We're pressing down through the tops of those toes back there to feel that pelvic floor push in. Smile, breathe, exhale to soften. Thumbs stay under that nipple area. Curl back onto your toes. Press up through the knees or power up, find your plank. Shift it back. Downward facing dog. Taking a moment here to gather your strength once more, squeezing into that spider grip with those hands, rotating the eyes and the elbows forward so you can melt your chest towards your thighs. Then Think about drawing your tushy up to the sky and pulling your sternum down to meet your belly button. It's a lot of work, right? Bend the elbows, bend the knees just a little bit here, creating a nice depth through the stretch through the calves and the forearms. Inhale, lift that right leg up to the sky. Exhale, bring it in tight to the chest like you're a flamingo. Shift your body weight forward and kick that right foot in between those hands. Nice job. Shift it forward. Lift off that back foot. Standing on that right foot, press away. At first, the belly touches the thigh. I want you to push off of that thigh and stand out that right leg. Rotate those pinky toes down toward the mat on that left foot so you can square the hips. I should be able to come around if I were in your room and place a little teacup on that low spine and it would hold there. Keep flexing that left foot as you release that left foot down to meet the right. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Bring those feet together. Maybe your big toes just touch and there's a little separation between the heels like it is for me. Maybe you can zip up those inner feet all the way. Inhale, half lift. Find a figure 7 so you can keep the fingertips on the mat. Maybe you bring them to your calves, or maybe you bring them all the way up to the thighs. As you exhale, forward fold. Now, because we both smoked, we want to be a little slower about moving up. So as we rise, we're going to think about tracing a line at the front of the legs. We're going to keep a micro bend in the knees, and we're going to start to press through the feet. That pressure through the feet is going to help us rise on up. Move slow. Shoulders come back and down, head lifts last. Reach those fingertips down to come up, tuck your tailbone. Exhale, let something go. Inhale up. Nice job. Hands come down through heart center. Take a moment here with the thumbs at the sternum, pushing the elbows nice and wide. Pause. Taking a moment of pause anytime throughout the day can help us refocus, recenter, come back to self. Smile, open the eyes, inhale, reach it back up, other side. We're going to swan dive this time, kicking our tushy back, releasing down into that forward fold. Reset the spine with a half lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, straighten the feet. Let's step our left foot way, way, way back. Then peel the right foot way, way back to meet it. Find a plank. Drop down to the knees here for a moment. Take the big toes to touch, knees wide. Sink the hips to the heels, finding that child's pose. Walk those hands forward, bring the palms together, bending at the elbows, creating that sharp bend. Breathe. Taking a couple moments here to maybe push out through the fingertips. Maybe you take and squeeze the hands, massaging those hands with the other. Moving into our other side. Release those hands back down to the mat and walk them out shoulder distance apart. Bring your chin into the mat to find those two parallel lines. Hold on those palms, shift yourself forward, find your stack. Knees underneath your hip points. And then I want your hands to walk out to the top of the mat just a little bit more. Start to squeeze into your spider grip and shift your body weight forward to look over your legs. The belly goes long. Curl onto the toes, lift off, plank. Now in our plank, we really want to find some strength here. Nice, long, strong. So the crown of the head reaches tall toward the top of the mat, and those feet reach in opposition toward the back of the mat. There's a slight squeezing of the tushy here, but we're not locking down, and we want to feel those legs zip up. Squeeze into that spider grip, rotate the eyes of the elbows forward. On your inhale, come high on the toes. Drop it down to the knees. Hug the body with the elbows. Knees, chest, chin. Then release the tushy, release the tummy, release the tops of the toes. Inhale, lift off, finding your baby cobra. So here again, we're really pressing down through the pelvis. We're reaching the eye gaze forward, and we're peeling our shoulder blades back down toward that tushy. Exhale to soften and release. Good. Keep those thumbs under the nipple area or get them back under there. Inhale to press up. Maybe you move through the knees, or maybe you go straight up into plank. Shift it back, downward facing dog. Shake your head no, let go of anything that's coming up. And nod it yes. Give a little thanks here. On the next inhale, left leg reaches toward the sky. Swim it forward like you're a flamingo. So really bring that knee tight into the chest. And then we push off those back toes. Come high onto those toes. Then swing that left leg in between those hands. Find that nice lunge. Left knee over left ankle. Inhale to shift it forward, kick off that left foot and stand off that right one. Rotate those right toes down toward the mat and find this nice L shape with the body. Smile, let the crown of the head hang heavy, push out of that standing leg and rotate those right pinky toes down toward the mat. Keep flexing that right foot and release it down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Bring the big toes to touch, maybe the heels touch too. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, root to rise, so slow rise, trace that line. Really be mindful of pushing into those feet. Shoulders come back and down, head lifts last, squeezing through that pelvic floor if you get a head rush. Reach the arms up above the head, tuck the tailbone, cactus the arms, look up, let it go. Inhale up. Good. Exhale, hands down through heart. So we're going to work on one more sun salutation, and then we're going to do a little side body stretch and finish off. So lift through your toes. I want you to feel your toes grounding into the mat. Start with the pinky toes and work toward that big toe, setting them down one at a time. Feel all those pads of those toes start to connect. And then feel the pressure through your feet. When you push down through your feet, it activates and stimulates the rest of the body. Smile, swing the arms up to the sky, inhale, reach. And exhale, push that tushy away. Maybe you swan dive, maybe you just do a gentle forward fold. Finding Uttanasana, forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale for our half lift, palms to shins or thighs. Really extend that tailbone back as you reach the crown of the head long. And then soften to fold. Bend your knees, frame your feet. Step the right foot way, way back. Left knee stays over left ankle. Maybe we sink those hips down just a little bit here. We'll start off by pressing the right hand into the mat. Swing your left arm up to the sky, open twist. So the body is facing that bent forward knee. And we're reaching up and out here. We're not kind of sinking down into that right shoulder. We're pressing up and away. Inhale. And exhale, swings that left hand down to frame the foot. We push into those hands to get that space for our left knee to peel back and the left toes to find our plank. Nice job. Shifting forward, you can do knees, chest, chin, or if you'd like to play with chaturanga, we come high on the toes. We still bend those elbows in toward the body to hug and hold as we release down. The elbows don't bypass the torso. You can belly flop here, curling onto the toes, lifting up. Maybe this time you find a full cobra, keeping the hips down toward the mat, pushing away with the hands. Maybe you find upward facing dog, coming onto the hands and feet. Good, everyone releases it down to the chest. Then we find that nipple area with the thumbs, press up through the hands, curl onto the toes, find your plank. Shift it back, downward dog on the exhale. Shake it out, let it go. And on your inhale, lift that right leg up to the sky. Exhale, swim it to that right elbow and then drop it in between those hands. Find that nice long lunge. Now the right knee is forward, right knee over right ankle. We're framing the foot. Left hand comes in line with that right arch. Swing the right arm up to the sky, open twist. Sink those hips down and reach that left heel back. Eye gaze can be out in front or reaching up with those fingertips. And exhale, frames that foot, shift it forward. Here comes our standing split. Lifting off, standing on that right leg, pushing out of the sole of that foot, and then rotating those left pinky toes down, softening the head. Good, release it down into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rise, half lift. Exhale to fold. Slow rise, use the feet to push away. Micro bend in those knees. Raise that line, come on up. Shoulders back, head lifts last, reach for the sky, tuck the tailbone, let it go. Inhale up. Good, exhale, let's go to the other side. So swan dive forward, Uttanasana. Inhale for that half lift to reset. Fold it down, frame the Feet step the left foot back, way, way back. Right knee over right ankle, left hand into the mat. Right arm twist to the sky. Smile. Breathe. Sink it down with those hips just a little farther. And then rotate that right hand down to find the mat. Push away through those hands. Exhale, right foot back. Find your plank. Holding here. Squeezing those heels back and zipping up through those legs. Shifting forward, coming high on the toes. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. And swimming it back to find your downward facing dog. Exhale it out. Taking a moment here to shake the head no. I love downward dog for letting go of the stuff, right? Like a dog shakes water off its back. You can do the same as shaking that head no. And then push away, find a nice structured dog, lift your hips to the sky and nod it yes. Bring in that good stuff. Inhale, lift that left leg up to the sky. Exhale, swim it in tight to the chest like you're a flamingo. Come high on those back toes, shift that body weight forward. Kick that left foot in between those hands. Left knee comes over left ankle, right hand into the mat, left arm twist to the sky. Sink that hip down toward the mat. Maybe the eye gaze comes up toward those fingers or out to the side of the room. Feeling that beautiful depth in your stretch, reach back through that right heel. And frame that foot on the exhale, push away, kick off, lift off, standing splits. Finding that flex right foot, reaching those toes toward the mat as you lift from the right inner thigh. Let the crown of the head hang heavy. And exhale to release it down, forward fold, Uttanasana. This time separate those feet. Hips distance, you can measure with the fists side by side in between the arches. Then inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Slow root to rise, come on up. Trace that line, move slow. Pull in that pelvic floor if you start to feel that head rush. Reach for the sky, tuck the tailbone, keep it tucked, let something go. Inhale up. Good, exhale, hands down through heart. Take a moment here, thumbs to sternum, close your eyes. Nice job. Slowly open the eyes. Take a moment here. Release the hands down by your sides. Feel the stretch of your arms. Good work. Inhale. Reach the arms up to the sky. Let the eye gaze follow, but keep the shoulders away from the ears still. Good. Now, draw your chin parallel so eye gaze reaches forward and the thumbs are going to peel back behind you. Take that left hand and grab a hold of your right wrist. Turn the right palm up to the sky. They call this one the Calcutta grip. So we want to imagine that we're reaching that palm up to the ceiling and we're holding onto that right wrist with the left hand. Now, this is one of the only poses I will instruct you that you can shift the bicep close to the ear. So as we inhale, we pull on that right arm, lifting it up to past the ear. Then the hips shift over to the right and we peel that right side open. Now, there's a couple of tendencies here. The first one is to sink down into this left side. I want you to imagine that there's a beach ball on this left side. Reach up and over it. Imagine it won't let you sink into that side. Then peel your right shoulder open and peel the left shoulder under. Imagine the body's between two panes of glass here. Tuck your pelvis and peel the sternum to the belly button. You should be feeling this from the right pinky down the outside edge of that right arm through the armpit and into that right hip. Smile, one more breath here. And inhale, come on back out. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, let something go. Inhale, back up. Nice job. Grab a hold of the left wrist. Eye gaze comes forward. Left palm up to the sky and peel the shoulders out of the ears to start. This means we're peeling the pinkies back behind us. Tuck your pelvic floor and feel that sternum to belly connection activated. Kick the hips to the left. Peel that left bicep over the left ear. Let it touch if it needs. Eye gaze comes up toward the ceiling or maybe out toward the corner of the room. Left shoulder back, right shoulder under, and we're imagining that beach ball. Round up and over it on that right side. Smile. Nice Ardha Chandrasana, our half moon pose. And then inhale, come on back up. Exhale, let something go with that back bend. Inhale up. Hands down through heart center. Take a moment here with the thumbs at the sternum. Close the eyes. Drop the chin to the chest. Imagine a little candy cane with that neck. Don't just let the chin drop. Reach it up and forward. Soften your jaw. Say a little prayer. Nice work. Inhale, reach those arms up to the sky. And exhale, hands down through heart center with the eyes open. So we're going to work on a little bit of a dancer pose, but we want to open up the shoulders first. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what's happening here. But we're going to start by releasing the left hand down beside us, just reaching those fingertips down. We're going to tuck the pelvic floor. We're going to tuck the sternum and shoulders back and down. Then we're going to swim the right arm up to the sky, and we're just going to take it forward, open up the hand, round it back. Try and move just at the arm. Try and keep that torso forward. Try and get the range of motion to happen in the shoulder, in the arm, not through the chest. Give me 2 more forward. And then switch it up, go back. Notice how you have to rotate your hand here to keep that shoulder at bay. 2 more on this side. And then we'll stop, shake it out, and do the other side. Inhale, left arm up, right arm reaches down beside us. This right arm is really the grounding. Swim that arm back behind you maybe. Pick a direction, you can choose front or back. Try and rotate with the arm, not with the rest of the body. Of course, it's going to get a little involved, everything's connected. 2 more times this direction. And then other way. Try and keep that shoulder blade glued down. Maybe you notice that means your range of motion is a little smaller. That's okay. 2 more times on this side. Really reaching with those right fingertips on the other side. And release it down. Shake it out, shimmy it out. Now we're going to find the center of the mat. So find the center of your mat. And then I want you to take and lift your left toes and replace them down one at a time. Find that grip through that left side. Okay. Now we're going to swim the arms up to the sky and keep the shoulders back and down. Draw your hands down through heart center and push the elbows wide. Now we're gently just going to kick the right toes back behind us so we find the top of the right toes. First, we're going to start by pressing in through the tops of those toes, just finding a nice little stretch for the top of the foot. Good. Then we swing that right arm behind us and kick up. See if you can grab the inside of the right arch. You might need to find a wall here. You can always use that left hand on that wall. Once you find that hook here, preferably on the inside arch, then push the left hand away from you. Get it in line with your left shoulder. Try not to clench through your left toes. And now begin to kick into your right hand. That's all it is kicking into the right hand. And as you kick, the foot starts to rise. Maybe your torso starts to come forward a little bit. This is also where the wall can come in handy if you need it. Holding here for 3, for 2, and slowly try and release as gracefully as you went in. Set it down. Swish it up. So just shift those hips from side to side, right? Maybe there's a little tension in that left hip. Maybe swing those arms around. Nice job, other side. So we want to bring those feet about hips distance apart again. We want them underneath our hip bones so we can find that nice strong structure. Lift through your right toes. Replace them down one at a time. Find all 4 corners of that foot, pressing into the mat. Now remember the micro bend in your knees. That buoyancy in our knees helps us to bend so we don't break. Nice. Reach those arms up to the sky, shoulders back and down, and hands come to heart. Push the elbows away. Find a focus out in front, your drishti point, and then kick your left toes back behind you. Top of the foot finds the mat. We start to press in through the tops of those toes. Beautiful little top of foot stretch. Then the left arm swims behind us, and we bend at the knee to bring the sole of the foot up, grabbing for the inside arch or ankle. Zip up through those legs and open up that shoulder. Then you can start to reach the right arm out. Maybe you tap the wall here. Maybe you start to kick into that left foot. Now, the kick of the left foot is what draws our torso forward. If we start to hinge forward, that's going to kick us out of the posture. It's going to take away our center of balance. So really press down through that standing leg, and the kick into the left hand opens you up. For 3, 2, slowly, as gracefully as possible, releasing it down. This time, step it a little wider than the mat and swish your hips from side to side, letting something go. Nice work. Bring the heels and toes back together, center of the mat. Swim your arms up to the sky, reach up, gather some of that energy, peel it down through your heart. Release your chin towards your chest and gently bow it up, releasing down into your Uttanasana, forward fold. Walk your hands forward and push your hips back. Then heel toe walk your feet away from each other to find the edges of the mat. We want our toes to come off and spill off the edges of the mat, and the heels stay on, facing inward. So toes out, heels in. I'm going to turn so y'all can see. And then slowly start to sink it down by walking the hands back and bringing your tushy towards your heels. We're coming into a little yogi squat, so we can start to feel the outside edges of our hips here, start to find some depth through the inner thighs. Your elbows want to walk in between those thighs, starting to find the inside of the thighs with the elbows. This will help push away. And the more you can bring the palms together toward that sternum, the more you'll start to feel that openness through those inner thighs. Smile and breathe here. Just staying open to whatever is coming into your life. Saying thank you for whatever trials are emerging. Whatever intense conversations are happening or forming in your life, just say thank you. Because with it, the intensity, right, comes the softness. And to whatever intensity we explore or experience this world in, we also get to experience that level of softness. Release those hands down. Hands find the mat. Inhale your booty up to the sky. Toes come forward and gently rock side to side. Feeling release through those hips, through those knees. Don't lock out here. Breathe. Nice job. Heel toe walk your feet back into center. Walk your hands out. Start to find your knees. Shift over one hip to the other. Find your tushy and kick your legs out long. You can take yourself back toward the back of the mat if you'd like and start to flex through your feet. As you flex your feet, you're going to feel your heels pushing down into the mat. You can even take that fleshy part of your tushy and move it out of the way so you can feel those sit bones start to plug in. There's as much of a bend in the knees as you need to get the torso long. So if I flatten my legs, I'm already compromising that midsection. So I want to keep a little micro bend in the knees so I can lift nice and tall. You should feel that cord pulling out the top of your head. Good. Inhale, reach the arms up. Keep pressing through the heels, shoulders back and down. Keep your biceps by your ears and pull your thumbs back behind you. As you exhale, find your belly onto the thighs. Then release the hands to find the feet and peel your shoulders back. Maybe you start to then round the spine, forehead into the knees. Breathing here, you can start to walk the heels a little bit longer. If that feels right, we're starting to find a stretch through the back. And then slowly start to roll it up. We're thinking about stacking one vertebrae at a time, pressing through the tailbone to rise. Nice job. Bring the soles of the feet together. Go ahead and hook the ankles here to get a nice strong grip. Let the soles of the feet come together and then see if you can find the toes, the pads of the toes coming together one at a time. Sit up nice and tall here, feeling the openness of the thighs. Maybe you give a couple flaps with your butterfly wings here. And then slowly we want to start to hinge it forward. Think about bringing your belly button towards your heels. Keep the spine nice and long. You'll start to feel this through the inside of the thighs. It wraps around the outside edge. If you start to lose that feeling of that inner thigh stretch, maybe you've gone a little too far. Maybe the elbows start to fall onto the calves or shins here, and you can use those to start to push down, but we want to still imagine reaching their chin or forehead toward the top of the mat. Breathe here, find some softness with each exhale. And push away. Come on, back up. Draw those knees in together. Soles of the feet find the mat, and we hook for a hug. Round and curl, chin to chest. Find that beautiful, beautiful cave. Good job. Releasing here, crossing through the ankles, rolling forward, hands find the top of the mat. Walk yourself back. I'm going to just twist myself here, but walk yourself back, and we're going to start to find our tummies. Bring the belly onto the mat. Release your arms out beside you like airplane wings. Reach those fingertips away, chin into the mat to start. Then bend at the elbows and bring your palms to stack underneath your chin or your forehead. Take and bring your toes together, maybe come onto the toes so you can zip up through those legs, lifting off through that pelvis and setting it back down to zip up through those legs, through those thighs. Taking 3 breaths here, just soften. Let the heels fall away for a moment. And then swing that right hand around towards your right tushy. Bend at the right knee, grab a hold at the top of your right foot or the ankle or the calf. Gently starting to peel that heel down toward your tushy. No super pinch or stabbing sensation through that knee. If you're feeling any of that, go ahead and back off of the pull. We're working on a quad stretch, the top of the thigh here. If you're wanting a little more, you can also pull on the tops of the toes and bring that heel a little closer to the tushy. One more nice deep inhale and open mouth. Exhale, sigh it all out. Let out all that old air. Then gently release that right foot. Find that stack. Switch hands. Bring the left hand down. Keep the right hand as your pillow. Bend at the left knee and grab a hold of the top of the left foot or ankle. Starting to peel that heel down toward the tushy, any amount. You can also bend the elbow up to the sky to create a little shoulder stretch. Or you can peel down through the tops of the toes to increase that quad stretch. Last 2 breaths here, just feeling that beautiful depth and stretch, the softness. Take a nice inhale, sigh it out with your exhale, open mouth, let it go. Releasing that foot, swimming onto your side, and then rolling onto your back, finding Shavasana. Extending long through the heels, letting the toes fall away. Drawing your shoulders together underneath you, and then walking your fingertips down toward the end of the mat. Taking a moment here to bring your right hand to your heart and your left hand to your belly. Just starting to notice the sensation of your breath. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat. Maybe you start to notice any spots in the body that are starting to tighten up. Send them some love, send them some softness. Maybe make a little bit of movement to allow that space to occur. And close your eyes if they're not closed already. And start to focus on the soles of the feet. Maybe notice a tingling along the soles of the feet as you become aware of them. That energy current that already exists within, start to feel it tingling on the bottoms of the feet. Now start to take that energy current up the soles of the feet, into the toes, through the tops of the ankles, tops of the feet. Starting to allow that energy source to travel up the legs. Feel it wrapping into every inch of those legs, into that skin, that muscle. Starting to roll up in through the knees, wrapping around that kneecap, around those tendons, those joints. Slowly making its way up the thighs, feel that tingling sensation, wrap around those big, strong muscles. Feel this energy expanding in any spaces that are tight or dark or dense. Letting the breath open up these spaces. Taking that energy now into the pelvic floor. Interweaving through all of those intestines, through the digestion, sending love to the liver, the kidneys, the gallbladder. Even if you don't have some of those things, that's okay. Send love into those spaces, right? The body remembers, even when those parts aren't existent in us anymore. Sending love into your tummy. Sending love into your ribs. Feeling that energy start to take over the torso, filling it up with that vibration. Starting to imagine the breath energizing those lungs, bringing that oxygen into every inch of those lungs. Using that breath to carry that energy now down into the arms, into the fingertips and back up. Softening the face, relaxing the jaw. Taking that energy up through the chest, maybe feeling that heartbeat. Feeling your vocal cords vibrate as you inhale and exhale with that breath. Feeling the neck and shoulders soften. Maybe you even feel the ears start to pull down toward the mat. Relaxing the face and softening the jaw, letting the eyeballs fall into the back of the head. Softening the forehead. Feeling the scalp soften as if someone's coming along and gently tugging on each one of those hairs. Allowing just a little bit more softness through the scalp, the brain, the psyche. Feel that energy pulling up now through the crown of the head, enveloping your body, this aura, this protection, this color, this safety, your bubble. Now take that energy, start to peel it in from outside your body, bringing it into that space, into that circle, into that bubble. Feel it cascading down the top of your head, enveloping your body from the top all the way down to the tips of those toes. Imagine it almost washing you. Rinsing away anything that's no longer serving you. Let it go, no need to hold on to it. Smiling here, knowing that anything you desire is already yours for the taking. Take a nice, big, deep breath and pause that breath at the top. Smile, open your mouth, and let it go. Ah. 2 more, just like that. Inhale. Pause. Open mouth, sigh it out. Ah. Last one, inhale. Pause it, smile, say something nice to yourself, and exhale, let it go. Rolling onto your side, whichever side feels right to you. Kicking out through that top leg and gently pressing yourself back up. Coming to find a seat on your mat, crossing through the legs and sitting up nice and tall. You can open the eyes or keep them closed here. Palms come together in the lap or just palms up toward the sky, a little bit of receptive mode here. Just breathe in that new energy, that new oxygen. Noting that each time you leave your mat, you get to leave a brand new person with new insight into yourself and into the world around you. If it's in your practice, you can draw your hands together at heart center and we'll gently bow to each other and say, Namaste.
Namaste.
Beautiful.
Ooh, that was great.
Let me